The resale game is cooked. StockX are now teaming up with Walmart. There are going to be two versions of the Undefeated 4s coming out next year, meaning you're going to be able to take two separate Ls. I was keen on the Black Toe Reimagines, then I got really keen when I saw the box, and then all of that was scuppered when I saw the price. And we've got a whole bunch of brand new exciting sneakers to talk about, including some new Air Maxes that may or may not be coming out, as well as a riff on the Jordan 4 RM already. Oh, all of these stories and lots more in this week's Sneaker Wrap. Hello everybody, it is me, Jordan Young, and this is my weekly Sneaker News Certified Hood Classic Bus and Banger. I do these episodes every Saturday where we look back at the biggest sneaker news stories from the past week, talk about some exciting upcoming sneaker releases, and generally just have a gay old time. If you guys aren't following me already over on IG and on TikTok, go ahead and do it. We're going to start off by recapping this week's biggest sneaker releases. First and foremost, here in the UK, the AirTech Challenge 2s sold out almost instantaneously. It's almost like there was hardly any stock made available for the release. I didn't think these were going to be hard to cop at all. In fact, I was so casual about it, I went onto the Nike sneakers app at like 3 minutes after 8 thinking I'd still have a chance, and nah bro, these were gone. Feels like this is one of the more rarer releases in recent times wherein the supply has not met the demand, and I'm wondering, we did also have the Air 180 Inverted Ultra Marine, and thanks to everybody that informed me that the whole inversion of this colorway is something to do with camera settings or something like that. So yeah, these are pretty much available. We also had the Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 4 RMs drop here in the UK today, which I was pretty happy to come up on because I have the green pair, need the gray pair. I actually low-key think this is a really nice pair. Also had the New Balance 990 V6 Loro Piana collab, and from what I've been able to gather, these also sold out pretty quick. In fact, there was something like 1,000 pairs of these. It was an invite-only type situation where people that are regular spenders with this boutique-y bougie brand were invited to cop, and I can't really see any pairs floating around on the resale market either. Apart from that, it was a pretty chilled week. Did you guys pick anything up? Feel free to let me know. Right, we're going to get into the news, and I want to start off with this story here. StockX and Walmart are teaming up. Is this the epitome of sneaker resale gentrification? This arrangement is going to offer shoppers access to pre-verified coveted sneakers, whether it's Nikes, Jordans, Asics, whatever. And this is going down soon. People are going to be able to jump onto Walmart's website and cop these from the 10th of September, so very soon indeed. And essentially what's going to happen is you're going to be able to cop these sneakers from Walmart's website, and then StockX are going to go about fulfilling and verifying the orders. This marks StockX's first third-party platform deal. And this seems to be a little bit of strategization, if that's even a word, from Walmart as they seek to compete a little bit more with the likes of Amazon in terms of online sales. And we saw news that Nike are going to be jumping back onto Amazon and selling directly, which is going to be a little bit of a problem for Nike resellers on Amazon. So this is a pretty interesting strategy, in my opinion. Seems like a pretty good move. Sort of shows where sneaker reselling and sneaker culture has gotten to now, where you can cop your favorite grail type sneakers from Walmart. But I guess this was going to happen at some point. What do you guys think of this? I've had some big updates regarding one of next year's most anticipated grails. This is one of those sneakers that we didn't see them pulling out of the vault. It's the undefeated Air Jordan 4. So the release date info is that these are supposed to be dropping in June. There's going to be an MA1 flight jacket coming out alongside the shoes, which is pretty cool. And the latest information is that there's actually going to be two different versions of the undefeated 4s. One version sporting the Jumpman on the back tab, and the other version sporting the Nike Air on the back tab. And it's been quite interesting to see the reactions to this feature online, with some people actually saying they prefer to see the Jumpman on the back of the undefeateds rather than the Nike Air. So what do you guys think of that? Are you of that opinion that Nike Air belongs on the OGs and the Jumpman belongs on the retros? I kind of feel like that's a good play. What do you guys think? I've had some official images as well as some packaging information for the upcoming Air Jordan 1 High Black Toes. This is the sneaker that has kind of polarized a lot of the sneaker community, because a lot of people are not feeling these just because the Wings logo has been removed from the collar and replaced with the wording Air Jordan. And I can totally understand that. And to be fair, I wasn't really that bothered about that detail. And then when I saw the packaging, which looks really cool, it features a picture that gives rise to the inspiration for the entire shoe, a young MJ with the black toes hanging off of his neck, with the Air Jordan on the side of the collar. We're also getting word that this is a general release, but I think the thing that has put me and a lot of other people off these is the fact that these are going to be $250 or something like 210, 220 pounds. If it's not a collab, if these aren't coming with elevated materials, bro, I'm not interested in these for that price at all. And I wonder if because of that expensive price point, these are going to end up sitting. Speaking of reimagined Jordans, we've heard some confirmation this week that we're going to be getting the Air Jordan 1 High UNC in a reimagined form next year. And the latest rumor is that these are supposed to be coming out with packaging very similar to the Lost and Founds. It's going to be interesting to see how they choose to reimagine these, if they do reimagine them in the same sort of way as they did the Chicagos with the cracked leather around the collar, because I kind of feel like the cracked leather look with black works quite well, but when you've got the white leather up and around the collar like you do on the UNC, I'm not sure how they're going to make that look somewhat aesthetically pleasing. I can understand an aged midsole, maybe a little bit of oxidation on the tongue, but I'm not sure if the cracked leather is going to work in the same sort of fashion should they choose to go that route. I personally still have my 2015 UNCs, so I'm not like that hard up for these. Almost would have preferred to have seen these come out in an 85 cut, but hey, still a cool pair if you don't have a pair of UNCs in the collection. This is one of the best colorways of all time in my opinion. What do you guys think of these? And we have a release date, or at least a tentative release date at this point, for a pretty exciting collab coming out next year, February 12th. 2025, Valentine's Day is supposed to be the release date for the Air Jordan 1 High Union collab. The SKU or the color code is Varsity Red, Black, Sail, Shadow Gray, and Muslin. And so these speculative mock-ups here have them looking similar to the previous releases we've seen, just with a Chicago stroke shadow type inspiration. So if these do end up coming out like these, they're going to be a must cop for sure. We've had some official images of the Legend Blue or the Columbia Air Jordan 11, as well as some updates around the potential release numbers. These are of course going to be coming out this holiday season. We last saw them in 2014. And rumors are there are going to be plenty of these to go around, something like 1 million pairs. And if you kind of go off the last few years of Air Jordan 11 releases, these should be pretty easy to cop. Right, let's talk about another exciting pair coming out next year, the Air Jordan 5 Black Metallic Reimagines. These latest pics have them looking really good. Part of me would have liked to have seen them oxidize the netting and maybe oxidize the outsole, because I kind of think that look is pretty sweet on the Air Jordan 5s when they come with this really icy bottom. It's only a matter of time before they end up falling off of a cliff. But now that I've seen these particular images, I've got to say these are looking really good, man. The shape looks really nice. I like the way that they've gone with the piping 3M action around the cuts on the leather. The shape is one of the things that I like the most. They don't look too bulky around the ankle collar, which is one of the criticisms that a lot of people have about the Air Jordan 5 in general. It just makes them slightly less wearable. The tongue also doesn't look too bulky and poofy and out there. These are looking good. I've got to say, this is a must-cop sneaker for me in 2025. I've got some updates on one of this month's, arguably one of this year's most exciting retros. It's the comeback of the Air Max 1 Chlorophyll. This sneaker is coming out to celebrate 20 years of Nike and Pata partnership. And the sneakers are set to drop next week, and it is the 15th anniversary of this particular shoe, which if you've been a long-time collector now, you'll know how big this sneaker has been for a lot of people. So they're releasing on September the 13th. It's 160 euros, and they're going to be releasing exclusively through Pata's website as well as through Pata's physical store location. So if you have a Pata near you, be prepared to get there early and queue up and maybe even camp out old school style. If you're going for them online, be prepared to battle the bots. Sneakers themselves look really good, really clean. The only criticism I've seen floating around is that the gray kind of kills these, but who cares? I think they're cool. I'm definitely going to be going for them. What about you guys? We've got some brand new sneakers to talk about. A lot of us have been chastising Nike for some time now because we haven't really been seeing anything new and exciting in the pipelines, and we have some new stuff. I don't know if we've got some exciting stuff, but we've definitely got some new stuff. I want to start off with these. Nike officially introduces LeBron James's first signature training shoe. And this is an interesting move because I thought hardly anyone was buying LeBron's signature basketball shoes or his cheaper spin-off basketball shoes. Now we have these, which look like a spin-off of a spin-off. I don't know, they're called the TR1s anyway, and we've got a couple of pretty cool colorways, including a Dunkman inspired colorway, sort of salmon colorway, and then this all black version. They do look like they'd be easy enough to just sort of slip on and maybe do some running in, or maybe do some plyometrics, or just some general gym action in, so I can understand what they're for and what they're all about. Can't see any pricing information on them, but look, if it's just a regular training shoe that you're looking for and you're a big fan of Lebron, I can see these working, but I don't really fancy a pair myself. What about you? The next sneaker that we've had our first looks ever at this week is this pair here, sported by Jordan Childs during the start of a baseball game, and it's a never before seen Air Max shoe. You can see here she's got them on foot. They're looking pretty futuristic. They're looking pretty out there. The black and the metallic silver goes pretty hard. Fit's going crazy. This woman here looks very athletic. I don't know, they're looking pretty cool. They're looking a little bit like an Air Max, Air Tuned Max, even like a little bit of Posit vibes in there. They're pretty dope, man. Look, it's good to see some new stuff out there. The next brand new sneaker we saw for the first time this week, and this one has been dividing people left, right, and center, is this new model from Jordan brand called the Jordan Flight Court, or I've seen other places say these are called the Jordan All Courts. And the first sneaker that we've got a look at is a collaborative sneaker with this bread colorway inspiration. This collab is from a company called Who Decides War, and their brand aesthetic includes a sort of deconstructed, military-inspired type look. And these have a real skate shoe vibe about them, at least to my eye, and almost look a little bit like a spin-off of the recently released Air Jordan 4 RM, almost like a Team RM. They go pretty hard with the white or the cream laces. This lady here is obviously making them look pretty good. And at least in the case of this specific shoe with the materials and the collaborative touches, these look pretty cool. These look like they'd be really wearable, very similar to the RMs. And so this particular shoe, this particular colorway, I quite like, but I wonder if they will be as successful when they start to pump out the GRs. I think once the GRs start coming, these are all going to be outlet bound off the rip. But my initial impressions of the shoe are that they're pretty cool, right? Very Nike heavy on the news so far, I know. Let's take a little break from the swoosh and talk about Kyrie Irving's new lifestyle Anta shoes. We first covered these some time ago, I think, but we've now got some in-hand images of his shoe. These are called the Anta Kai Tribes. These are set to come out pretty soon, I think. No firm release date info that I can see, but they look good, man. The quality on them looks really nice. On the upper, they've got this interesting sort of webbed design on the toe box with some perforated leather, nice looking suede materials, pretty funky traction pattern on the outsole. I mean, these have been made to wear casually, and this colorway is very casual. I like them. I think they look pretty smart. I think Kyrie's doing some pretty good things with Anta, and he seems pretty happy. I'm not sure to what extent these are going to wheel out in America and in the UK, given that Anta is a Chinese brand. I would imagine they'd be rolling them out over there first and then maybe bleed them into the US and the EU markets. But if they make it over these ways, I could see these being quite popular. What do you guys think? A lot of old school sneakerheads were pretty happy to hear this news this week. Deion Sanders' Nike Air Diamond Turf in the Atlanta Falcons colorway is set to make a return in February of 2025, just adding to the compounding fiscal worries of an entire generation of people out there, given the scope of sneakers we're set to see drop in 2025. If you're like me though, and you grew up in New Zealand or maybe even the UK, these particular types of Nike shoes aren't really it to you, because we play rugby, not football where you've got to wear helmets and pads. Nah, I'm only joking. Honestly, in New Zealand, American football was never really big like that, and so these types of shoes weren't nearly as popular as basketball shoes. But I'm sure for some of you old heads over there in the US, you will be frothing for these. Right, let's talk about some Nike SB Dunk news now. We've got some GR colorways that have been announced for 2025. We've got this sort of lemony or citrusy type colorway, a black and blue colorway, and then a rusty pink type colorway. And I think you'll probably agree with me when I say these are all going to go on sale. Feels like Nike SBs are pretty cooked now at the moment, especially the GR versions. And if you're a skater or a genuine SB head, that will be absolutely news to your ears. But these particular colorways, I'm not really feeling any of them. What about you guys? We've also had some on-foots of the Wizard of Oz SBs that are supposed to be dropping in the holiday season later on in December. And honestly, bro, now that we've had these on foot, I can safely say these are horrible, bro. These are disgusting. This colorway looks like some kind of malevolent virus observed under a microscope. I think they've decided to make these the most limited SBs of the year, and I feel like that's a strategy that they had to employ in order to make sure that these sell out. I'm not feeling these. I think these are trash. The Dorothy SBs over these any day of the week, but I'm sure there's plenty of you guys out there that will probably disagree with that take. Speaking of ghastly dunks, this is a Halloween dunk set to come out pretty soon, and I feel like if these were an SB, they would be more acceptable, but they're not. They're a dunk, and as a result, they're not quite as cool, but yeah. This is the Halloween dunk. And they've got this toxic green cracked leather on the upper and then a skull on the toe box. I don't know, man. I'm not really feeling these ones either. These are a big skip from me behind the back pass. Or Drake Air Force One lows set to come out next year. Bro, I don't know why they used this zesty ass picture of Drake. I feel like they're trolling him at this point using these types of images to put alongside his sneakers. Like if there was one image you could post alongside an image to almost guarantee pairs won't sell, it's this image right here. These kind of look similar to the first Loverboy Air Force Ones that came out, albeit with a slightly translucent outsole. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of any of Drake's shoes, even when he teams up with Nike to do really simple things like the Air Force Ones. I don't know, man, because it's Drake, I'm just not keen. Speaking of disrespecting classics, bro, we've had our first look at the Nike Kobe 5 Protro Year of the Mamba, and these things are disgraceful. Like, honestly, you can't tell me these don't look like someone's first attempt at customizing a Kobe. They're shocking, and this hurts me personally because I really like the Kobe 5. It's one of my favorite Kobe models of all time. These are set to come out sometime in 2025, but yeah, these are some Temu-ass Kobe's. Not feeling these at all. Some Jordan 1 Low OG news now. We've had a release date now for the Travis Scott Velvet Browns or the Mocha Mochas. These are supposed to be coming out on December the 21st, and I think, according to the reaction that I've seen online, these are being slated as the worst Travis 1 Low colorway of all time so far. All they needed was just a little bit of contrast, a white midsole, even a white outsole. Just contrasting these with the laces isn't really going to make them pop. But on the flip side, they are smart, they are low-key, they are casual. These are like the Travis 1 Lows that your dad probably wants. We've also had some updated info on the Howard University-inspired PE colorway of the Air Jordan 1 Low OG. These are set to release in October. This color blocking is really clean. Quality looks okay, and they haven't gone one-to-one in terms of the PE touches. The one thing that does separate these out from being a normal Jordan 1 Low OG is they have the mini swoosh on the front quarter, which is kind of a cool touch, but I don't think that really makes these a must cop. They are still nice though. And we have another retro of the KD4 coming out very soon in October, actually, the Aunt Pearl colorway. If you guys are familiar with the whole KD line as well as the Aunt Pearl colorways, you'll know that they are pretty legendary among sneakerheads as well as Nike basketball collectors, and this pair is no exception. $130 is the retail. No word that I'm seeing as to how limited these are going to be. Generally, the Aunt Pearl releases are a little bit more limited, but given that a lot of the KD4 colorways we've seen retro this year have gone on to sit, including pretty hyped up pairs, well, once that were pretty hyped up pairs like the Nerfs, these should be pretty easy to get, I would have thought, unless they make them hyper limited. To break up the Nike heavy news one more time before we move on to the most exciting sneakers releasing this week, we've had a little update on the Stone Island New Balance 991 V2 pack, which are set to drop this coming holiday season. We covered this story last week where we featured the only available image at the time, which was this tan colorway. I did mention that there was a green as well as a black pair that was slated to come out alongside the tan pair, and we have pictures of both of those. Bro, all I can say is how boring are these? I mean, if it wasn't for the Stone Island badge on the tongue, all three of these would absolutely sit and go on sale. To finish off, let's talk about some of the exciting upcoming sneaker releases you guys might want to keep an eye out for this week. First of all, September the 12th, Bodega and Asics are teaming up on the Gel Kayano 20. Same day, you also have the Nike SB Dunk Low Escargot colorway. That's for you guys over there in the US. These have actually sat and even gone on sale here in the UK, so I would imagine the same would be true for you guys as well. September the 13th, as mentioned earlier on in the episode, the release of the week, arguably one of the releases of the month, the Patta Nike Air Max 1. Remember, this is going to be a Patta exclusive release only. Then on September the 14th, the G-Dragon Nike Air Force One Low, the Para Noise. Pretty good week, a couple of bangers in there. You guys going for anything? Feel free to let me know. And that is it for this week's Sneaker Wrap. Thank you guys, as always, so much for taking the time to watch the video. I really appreciate it. Do me a favor and like the video before you bounce, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care for now, and peace.